Hello, I'm Daniel Buckley. I am working on the Intro to User Experience class offered through edx.org from the University of Michigan. Its course number is MichiganX UX501x, and part of this process is we need to do a study, user experience study. Part of this is walking through the software that we're going to examine for the first time and to make notes on observing someone through this process. Part of this is going to be trying to be very vocal with what I'm thinking as I'm going through it. Unfortunately, I'm not capturing the screen that I'm going to be working on, but you will be having me talk through what I'm trying to think about, or what I am thinking about, as I go through the process. I'm going to walk through the whole moderator preamble as well, as preparation for me doing this in the future with testing other people or observing other people. Thank you for participating in this brief usability test. The purpose of this test is to see how well Doodle.com works for setting up meetings with multiple participants. I want to stress that I am testing the site, not you or your abilities. If you have difficulty with any of the tasks I ask you to do today, it will help me to find problems with the site that need to be improved. If at any time you decide that you don't want to participate in the test anymore, you are free to quit. Does that sound okay? I've prepared 3 tasks that I will ask you to try. They're based around an imaginary scenario in which you have to schedule a meeting with 3 other people, including me. While you're going through the tasks, I will ask you to do 2 things. First, I would like you to think out loud. It means that while you're interacting with the site, tell me what's on your mind. For example, what are you trying to do? What do you think the site is trying to get you to do? Is there anything that is confusing? Second, when you think you've completed each task, let me know by saying, "I'm done." While you are completing tasks, I will mostly remain silent, other than perhaps asking questions about what is going on in your mind if it's not clear from what you're seeing. In general, I will try not to offer any help or hints, since this would not be available in the real-world setting where you're trying to figure out the site out on your own. Feel free to ask questions if they come to mind, but don't be surprised if I don't answer them. Are you ready to start? Me, I am ready to start. Okay. I printed out the documents that I created so I can go through them step by step. This is the same way I'm going to run it later when I have someone else work on it. This is supposed to take a half an hour in total. Very exciting to watching my face. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Planning a study group meetup. You're taking an online course, which is actually true, and want to set up a study group meeting with some of the other learners in the course at a local coffee shop. A friend recently told you that Doodle.com is a good way to set up group meetings, saying it's much more efficient than sending a bunch of emails back and forth. Go to Doodle.com and use it to find a time that your study group can meet. Here are some details that will be important when setting up the meeting. It should take place at a local cafe. The email addresses of the other participants are amy@nowhere.com, victor@nowhere.com, the testers or the moderator's email address, and then my own email address. You would like the meeting to take place within the next 2 weeks, but only on a weekday, Monday through Friday. You would like the meeting to last 1 hour. You would like the meeting to take place between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. in the evening. If possible to do so on Doodle, allow participants to indicate whether a particular time is good, bad, acceptable, but not preferred. Talk about great user experiences. Okay, so planning a study group meetup. All right, so I got the information here. I want to set up a meeting, it looks like, between me and some online colleagues or students that I'm working with in the course. So let's go find this website. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and got a bunch of stuff open right now. I'm just going to kind of move that out of the way. I want to be focused on what we got going here. Oh my gosh, so much open windows. There you go. My first experience is that I got so much stuff open on my computer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use Chrome. It's my favorite, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. And we're going to go to Doodle.com. So on the bar, I'm just going to type Doodle.com. It's DOODLE.com. And that's all I typed. I hit enter. Okay, so I got this cool screen. Well, it's just a regular screen, I guess. It says Doodle on top, features pricing. That's interesting at the top of the bar. There must be a cost for this somewhere. There's a sign up and a login. Doodle simplifies scheduling. There's a cool little arrow that points to schedule an event. It says free or view an example. So if I'm interested in trying to figure out how to make this thing work, that might be helpful. They have a little bar that says, we were mentioned on BBC and Wall Street Journal. I'm like, okay, cool. It's got this kind of vertical layout, so if you keep scrolling, I guess a lot of information for one page. But let me go ahead and get this started. So I guess this is it. I mean, it says free. I'm going to go ahead and schedule an event. So that seems like it'd be the right button to press. Ooh, I can put a title in. So I'm in scheduling event. I'm going to go ahead and put a title in. I'm just going to call it Study Group Meetup. That's kind of what this is. So, if I could type well, that'd be good. Okay, so I got that in there into the title. There's an optional location, but we already talked about we want kind of the local cafe. This kind of cool as I'm typing stuff in, it starts pulling up information. This might be powered by Google. I'm not sure if this is through Doodle itself or if it's just coming through from Google. It's doing a location search, which has pins and addresses and things like that. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and put something kind of close to me. Well, I'm sure there's a million Ann Arbor Starbucks around, but I'm just going to pick the first one here on South University Avenue. There's a box for an optional description. Well, I don't have any information about how would I describe this, but I guess I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing. You know, this is we need to study for this online course. There's a limit on the side. This is kind of telling me how many characters I have left. It's like, I don't know, 500 or so. That's plenty to send a little note out. I'm going to write, I don't know what else I've got available on the screen, so I'm going to say, I want to meet on a weekday between 5 and 8. Let me know if that works for you. For you guys, because we'll have that because I'm from the Midwest. Okay, put my name in. Daniel. Chrome doing its autofill for me, coming through and grabbing a bunch of information. I go ahead and left that. I didn't use the autofill, but there's a slot for email address. I'm going to go ahead and put my personal email address. Then later I'll put in my work address. All right, you will receive a link to administrator your poll at the address. This is not automatically open. This will not automatically open any Doodle account in case you had any fear about automatically getting a Doodle account. Okay, looks like we're in step 1, general. And go ahead and hit next button on the bottom here. Now, time proposals, and move into step 2. Okay, so within the next 2 weeks, but only on a weekday. So today's Thursday the 20th of 2016. So I'm going to just go ahead and pick the days coming up. So that's 1 week, 27th, 31st. Not necessarily intuitive, but you can keep selecting on the calendar, even though the calendar is showing October. I can click into November, even though in 2 weeks it doesn't show. It's showing just October. The bottom has got some November dates. I'm just going to go ahead and grab those two. So I got selected dates, Thursday the 20th, that's today, Friday the 21st, Monday the 24th, Tuesday the 25th, Wednesday 26th, Thursday 27th, Friday 28th, and then Monday the 31st, Tuesday the 1st, Wednesday the 2nd, and Thursday the 3rd. So that's the next 2 weeks. Okay, date proposals, what's new? Okay, select multiple dates or date ranges. There's a cool little what's new thing, but it was intuitive. I just kind of clicked buttons for the dates that I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Oh, okay, so now I've got time proposals. Enter any number of time proposals for each day. If you do not enter an actual time span, the proposed date is shown as all day long. Okay, so now I've got a list of all the days that I picked. I got a time 1 box, a time 2 box, and a time 3 box. And these are proposed times. If I don't put a time span in, then it shows as all day. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try and put a time span in here. It seems like it's a little confusing to me. I'm going to go ahead and put 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay, once I hit tab between those two, Our tab moves me to the next box. It says 5 p.m. I put 5, just 5, and then the letters p.m. and it made it 5:00 p.m. and then time 2, 8:00 p.m. 8:00 p.m. Okay, there's an option down here that says copy and paste the first row. I'm all for that. Okay, so I hit that button and it copied the 5 to 8 all the way down. That's down the time slots for all the days. I don't see how this is a span. I can't really tell right now if this is going to do what I want it to do. I kind of feel like it's saying, how about 5 o'clock, how about 8 o'clock, how about 9 o'clock as times. I don't know if it's going to turn this into a time span for me or not. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next and find out. You can add additional time slots, it looks like. So if there was more slotted times we wanted, that'd be okay. Oh, okay. So I hit next. What I got right now is it comes to a settings page. I have a basic poll. It says for a basic poll, you can just skip this step. Otherwise, choose from the settings below, and then settings opens up as optional. I'm going to go ahead and click on settings. All right, let's see what 5 to 8 p.m. in the evening. Possible to do so on Doodle. All participants to indicate whether a particular time is good, bad, or acceptable, but not preferred. Yes, no, if need be poll for busy participants. Okay, let's go ahead and click on that. That sounds like what we wanted. Participant can only choose one option now. It's like a limited number of participants per option. No, that looks fine. Hidden poll. No, I don't think we need that. Okay. Binding participation. Ask your participants for additional pieces of information. A postal address, an email address, and a phone number. This sounds cool, but it looks like it's under premium, so it's not something we're going to look at today. All right. So my settings, if yes, no, if need be. Okay. Extra fields. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Sharing settings. Everyone with a link can participate. Decide who can participate. Okay, there's sharing settings. Decide who can participate in your poll. Everyone with a link can participate. I'm going to go ahead and select that as the second one. Only invited people can participate. Because this is for funsies, I don't want to send it out all over the place anyway. Checkbox is I also want to participate was automatically set up. There's a little question mark here to see. Only the people who invited via Doodle on this page or later using the admin features can participate in your poll. Okay, that's fine with me. That's good information. Okay, type email addresses here. This looks like a list box. Okay, so let's get amy@nowhere.com. Okay, and then tabbing closed off that email address and created it as a box so I can kind of X out if I need to. Victor@nowhere.com. Looks like it's limited to 20 total participants, which is fine for now. All right, my personal email address and then my moderator email address. Okay, 4 participants. Okay, add a personal message if I want to. Okay, and this is just using by default the description that I put on there, so that's cool. All right, and there's a preview the email button, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Hi there, Daniel Buckley invites you to participate in a Doodle poll study group meetup. And with my message, we need to study for this online course. Participate now. What is Doodle? Some information, some stuff on the online app. Apparently Doodle is based in Zurich. It's interesting. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the email preview. There's a list of contacts that you can grab from, in this case, Google, Office 365, and Outlook.com. Those are all things that I'm using on this computer. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and finish. I'll hit that finish button. Thanks, Daniel Buckley. Your poll has been sent. Okay, so create, send, track on invitations for any event. Free, this is an ad. Oh, okay, there's an ad underneath. Okay, it does say advertisement, I guess, on the bottom. But it's hard to tell if that advertisement is for the SurveyMonkey thing or for that invitation thing. All right, that was my work phone for my moderator address going off. And boom, just got the invite, Daniel Buckley via Doodle. I'll go ahead and just open that up on the screen and see what's going on. All right, hi there. Invites. Okay, well, let me go ahead and this finishes up my I'm done. Okay, I sent my emails out. This finishes task 1. I'm going to go ahead and look at, make sure I cover everything on this task. Coffee shop, back and forth, local cafe, email addresses for participants. Next 2 weeks, but only on a weekday. Oops. I would like the meeting to last 1 hour. I didn't have any information on there of setting how long the meeting would last. So that is going to be something that's going to come back, I guess, from the poll. So we'll have to check that. I feel like there wasn't a visible option to do that, and we'll have to investigate that a little bit more. Is it possible to do so on Doodle? Allow participants to indicate time is good or not. Okay, so task 1 is done. We'll go ahead and switch to task 2. Okay, after the poll is sent out, you should receive an email inviting you to participate in the poll. Indicate that you are available all of the times except for Thursdays. You are only available 5 to 6, not 6 to 8. You would prefer not to meet on Tuesdays, but would be willing to do so if no other times work for others. Okay, so I'm going to go to my personal email address and check that out. So I do have moderator email open. I'm going to go open up my Google Mail here, Gmail, and see if I got, yep, I do see that I got a Doodle invitation. I got 2 Doodle invitations. So one of them is for me as the creator of the poll. You created a poll, okay. Do not forward this email, it says on the top of that email, so that's interesting. Okay, and then an invite for being a part of the poll. So I'm going to go ahead and participate now. Clicking the link in the email through Gmail. I'm going to say that it was a human error there and didn't click it right the first time. Doesn't sound like I hit it right. Okay, so this poll is bigger than usual. Okay, so now I clicked on it. It's opened Doodle up. It says mutually agree on a time, enter your name, info field, check boxes, study group meetup, initiated by me 2 minutes ago, where, Starbucks, which has got a link that looks like it goes to a map, according to the little link thing on the bottom, goes to Google Maps. My description, table view. It says in table view, it says this poll is bigger than usual. Expand the view to participate in the poll. Show all 22 options. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this has turned it into a widescreen view here. Well, when I set up the poll, so now it says 5, 8. So there must have been a way to kind of do a span, but I don't feel like that was intuitive within what we were looking to do. We have a box that says 5 p.m., 8 p.m. for each date through the dates that I picked. There's a yes in parentheses, and a no. When I highlight over the yes, it turns green. When I highlight over the yes in parentheses, it comes back with the if need be, turns yellow. And if I go over the red, it's no. Okay, so on Tuesdays, let's find a Tuesday. I'm going to go ahead and put a yes in both of the if need be yeses in the Tuesdays that I have in my list. So I've got a couple of those. Let's see, what else do we got? Available Thursdays, only available 5 to 6. All right, Thursdays, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put yes on the 5 and no on the 8. With what I've got available here from how this was set up, I'm going to go ahead and say that's the only option I've got to kind of show that time range. Okay, for everyone else, I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. That means at 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and how this is set up, I'm going to go ahead and hit yes, yes, yes. All right, for everything else. Okay, so now that I've done with all those selections, there is a couple options. One is a box that says cannot make it, that I cannot select, and then the other one says save. 2 buttons at the bottom of my list. It has my name in here, which I can edit apparently. Let me know if that works for me. I can add some comments, it looks like. There's a comment box and then an add comments. What it is, inform me about further participants' comments in this poll, so I can save that information. I'm just going to go ahead and save the request. It says, thanks Daniel Buckley, your choices have been submitted. There's a notifications option. Inform me about further participants, comments, and anything else. Return to the poll. Okay, I'm done. So I've gone through task 2. I'll go ahead and switch to task 3. Okay, I'm going to switch to the moderator notes because I think there's something that needs to happen within the moderator script here. Task 1, an email. All right, as the moderator, I'm going to go ahead and fill out the information to make sure we can move forward into task 3. So I'm going to go ahead and open the moderator email and participate now. Okay, so this opens the same menu up. All right, so now that I've filled out, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second and fill it out as the moderator because it's kind of separate from what we're doing right now. Okay, so I completed the moderator task in order to move forward on this, which was just setting some of the dates. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to task 3 as the user. Assume a couple of days have passed and you want to see the results of your poll. View the results. Based on the results, if there's any times that are there any times that will work for the meeting? Once you have an answer, please tell me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close down my whole window here, pretend like I spent a day, come back the next day. I'm going to pull up my, I want to go back to doodle.com. I just want to go ahead and just go straight to doodle.com and see what happens. Straight to the Doodle page. So I can't get back to my event that I just created from here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to email this time. I should have a link for creating the menu. Okay, so I'm in email, study group meetup. When I look at this, it says, hey, Daniel Buckley just participated in the poll. So someone sent a note in, and so I got more information. So I got 2 people who've signed up and are participated in the poll right now. I'm going to go ahead and hit, there's a link here that says go to poll. I'm going to go ahead and hit that link. All right, so I'm going to be able to get to the poll that way. All right, the poll is bigger than usual again. Okay, so I'm in a study group meetup. It says the poll is bigger than usual. I'm going to go ahead. There's the most popular date is several. Select final options is a drop-down menu that I can hit. I'll make this full screen because it's kind of really big. There's a list. This is kind of cool. It says 204 invitees. Who is missing? So there's a list of showing me who I can go, or a link to show me I can go do that if I want to. Okay. I'll go back to not the select final options. Okay, so I have my first page here. It gives me this kind of chart with a list of people, and then I've got greens and reds and yellows and all kinds of stuff that's kind of showing me whether this is an option that works for people. Looks like I got a couple options on Mondays early to 5 p.m. Thursdays to 5 p.m. On Tuesdays 8 p.m. if need be. Yeah, so let me find a Monday, and we'll go through a weekly progression here. Monday early, 5 p.m. to something because of how this is full set up. Tuesday, if need be, later, to 7 to 8, something like that. Thursday, 5 p.m. Those look like the dates that work. All right, so when I have an answer, are there any times that work for a meeting? Okay, this is my answer for that. Earlier Monday, later Tuesday if need be, and early Thursday are the options. All right, so there's a select final options here. I mean, it allows me to kind of pick. Oh, okay, so this gives me a different kind of view. It gives me just kind of a number view. It says, let's start with the Monday, that we've got 2 yeses early on Monday, 2 yeses early on Thursday, and then the if need be is yes. Kind of shows up, but not in the same way, so it makes it a little bit harder to pick out which one you want. All right, so those are my options. I'm going to go ahead and pick the 3 of those just so they show up. When I click on them in the checkbox above, it'll highlight it on the chart below, so it's giving me kind of a visual color indicator too, whether those are good or not. All right, well, I've got some checks here. Let me see if there's a save button or something. Yeah, it's off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And poll is closed. So I get a group study meetup. It says the poll is closed. It gives me a list of the dates and times that have been selected, a calendar export option. Not sure what export that's going to go to. Can send an invitation. This is an advertisement, I think, for a paperless post and maybe a cool little invite with a picture or something. I don't know. And then inform by email, show all 22 options, add comments. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video here. I think there's some moderator talk here. Let me double check for closing. There is some questions when we're done, so let's go through those. So it was basically at the end of the task. I've completed the 3 tasks as a user and then tried to describe what was happening while I was doing them. At the end, the moderator would have a debrief, which is kind of just go through the information and kind of ask questions that might not have come through just by the talking aloud. And let's see, so let me read through this real quickly as the moderator, and then I'll come back and answer some of the questions. All right, for part of the debrief, there's a list of generic questions that I'm just going to go through that are provided to the moderator, and then I'll go ahead and answer those based on my experience with Doodle. This is the first time I've used Doodle in preparation of testing or user testing for other people, so I can work on this week 2 task for the grade. Okay. What is your overall impression of Doodle? Doodle seemed like it was okay to use. I feel like it gave a kind of a cool niche-y way to schedule a meeting with people, especially if you don't have all the same email address maybe. So if everyone's kind of in different, like out of a different organization, or a study group is the example here, and the study group kind of works. You know, if you're trying to meet up with a group of acquaintances versus friends, or even friends, people who you have email addresses but you don't see all the time, or people who like aren't in your office. You can't schedule a meeting, or maybe even office but remote. I feel like it doesn't, in a business environment, I don't feel like it would have a good fit for what it's doing or what it's trying to do. Do you think Doodle would be useful to you personally? Why or why not? I think that no, probably not. I don't usually schedule a lot of things with people I don't know. I'd rather run into people than schedule meetings with them and see how that works. Ideally, you should be able to track someone down, but if not, then maybe this would be helpful in scheduling group meetings or something like that with people outside of an organization. If no, who do you think it would be useful for and why? And I think I kind of covered that already. If you don't have everyone's email address, or you don't have everyone's phone number, if they're outside of a group of people, an organization, or a work organization, that I think it would be helpful. Might be useful in a more smaller setting, like if you were working retail and you wanted to set up a meeting of some sort with groups and across different hours. So if people are working different shifts, this might be helpful in kind of putting that all together. Say, hey, we're just going to do a group meetup or whatever. That might work that way. Something where people don't have readily, organizational emails. Once you have an organizational email and you're running through some kind of mail system like Outlook or something like that, scheduling meetings probably easier to handle through that. What do you like best about Doodle? Doodle, I think that for the gathering of information and kind of displaying it in a visual way to kind of give you like a stoplight, green, yellow, red of what days work for people and what days won't. I think that's kind of a cool little feature. What do you think needs to be improved? Setting up time frames. So I don't think that setting the meeting span worked the way I expected it to. There wasn't really any information in there showing how to set it. That could probably be easily handled with like a widget for times, like to from time, or from to, I guess I got that backwards. A from time to a to time, or put a hyphen here, and this will create a time span. Instead, it just gives you a list of boxes, or a row of boxes with times that you can enter, and I don't feel like that provides the right kind of information for what the task was, to try and give us a span of times to kind of select from in order to have a meeting. Didn't really give us an opportunity to set the length of the meeting. Maybe that was something that would happen automatically or provide additional information. One, setting the meeting up, that if we told it we could set an hour, or maybe we missed that we could set that hour, that it would have put out span times instead of kind of just a solid 5 o'clock or 8 o'clock. How often do you schedule meetings with other people? I would say probably once every 2 weeks or so. Don't need to schedule a lot of meetings, participate in as many meetings as I would like or not like in this case. So not very often am I trying to schedule something across the whole group of people that's not someone I can just run into. How do you usually go about scheduling such meetings? If I need to schedule a meeting currently, then I'm going to use organizational email. And in this case, I'll be using Outlook. That allows me to go to my calendar, find a date that I like, and then just pass out that date. So that kind of says, hey, we're going to meet at this time. That allows for some feedback in moving dates around, but most of the time I've already gotten some kind of verbal confirmation that a current time or a date or time will work for people. So Doodle is handling a lot of things like that, sending out the information saying we need to meet. It's creating a when do you want to meet. Normally when I set up a meeting, I already know when we want to meet. Have you ever used any sites or apps that you think are similar to Doodle? Which ones and how much experience have you had with them? No, I don't think I've used anything like this before. Yeah, that's all there is to it. How many hours per week would you estimate you spend online? Does Netflix count? Because it's still online, right? Well, 40, because I work on a computer all day long, all week long. Let's go with 60. Watch a couple shows. Get on your phone. Yeah, let's just go with 60. I'm going to say that number's a little inflated because it counts the whole 40 hours that I do work because I'm online that entire time. But, sorry. Okay, so that finishes it up for the user as a moderator. There's a wrap up, which is basically thank you very much for participating. We're going to use this information to make the site better and to help it become more user friendly for everyone else. Okay, and that's it. So we'll wrap up for a wrap up. Hey, I'm Daniel. Hopefully you guys can use this. This is the first time I've run through Doodle, so this is basically the user test. Only difference is that I was acting as my own moderator. So a little bit shady there, but that's about it. Thanks so much. Have a great day.